Moving to Cyprus can be a dream for many, many people. The sunshine, the slow pace of life, the opportunity to maybe start a new life or just enjoy your retirement. Cyprus has an awful lot to offer. But I've seen so many people fall into so many traps which has cost them money, time, and maybe even the dream itself by not understanding the common mistakes that people make when they do move out here. So join me in this video and I'll try and take you through my 10 top mistakes that people make when they first move over to Cyprus. My name is Brian James. I'm a dual national, part Irish, part British, and I moved into the beautiful island of Cyprus in April 2025. So join me as I take you through the top 10 mistakes I see people make when they come across to live in Cyprus. Number 1, thinking here when still on holiday when actually I live here. A lot of people come over here because they've been on holiday lots of times. They look forward to the beaches, the lifestyle, the laid back enjoyment all the time, the tavernas, the bars, whatever it is that you come on holiday for. But when you come to live here, it's a very, very different story. You've got bills, you've got bureaucracy, you've got day-to-day living, you've got houses to look after and clean, and all the things that you would be doing at home in your normal day-to-day life still goes on over here. It's not a holiday. Although, when you're living in a place which seems like a holiday lifestyle, it's very easy to get caught in that trap. What a lot of Brits who come over here do is they get caught into that holiday trap for the first few months, realise that it's costly, realise that it's very time consuming to sit back and chill all the time, and they don't get the things done that they need to. And when they do have to get on with those things, they're paying the bills, they're looking after the house, they're looking after yourselves generally in just the day-to-day living, they realise that it's actually not the glamour life that they thought it was. Mistake number 2 I've seen is not renting before buying. Yes, you might have the money to buy a house out here, and houses are still, although they've gone up a lot, still reasonably priced. But an awful lot of people come over and they see what they think is going to be the perfect house and they buy it, only to find that it's not the right neighbourhood after a while. Like anywhere else in the world, you've got good neighbourhoods and bad neighbourhoods. You've got noisy neighbours and quiet neighbours. You've got amenities on tap and amenities far away. And this is the thing you have to try. So my advice is to try before you buy. Now, I had in my mind I was going to come across here and I was going to move into Pair, and that was going to be where I was going to settle down. Now, I've got no problems with Pair, but it just doesn't suit my lifestyle. Now that I've been here and seen around the place, Pair wouldn't suit me. I'm living in Universal. That would suit me an awful lot better, but it's quite expensive. But it's very, very close to Paphos itself in the town. But I doubt it's going to be where I'm going to end up living all my time. So when you do come across, even if you have the money to buy your house outright, consider where you're going to be moving to and consider renting before buying. Give yourself a year or so to try it. Most rental contracts are for a year and they are readily available. So get yourself into a house, rent out where you think you'd like to live. And in that year, look around all the other places. Was that a wise move? It may be, but it may not be too. So before you put your money down and have all the problems about moving house afterwards, consider renting for a year. Number 3 is understanding the heat and the climate. Yes, it's beautiful living in the sunshine. We all like it. But it's different living here. When you're in the months of July and August where it's constantly in the 40 degrees most days, it becomes very, very heavy, very, very difficult to work. They have siestas over here. People don't understand why they have siestas if you're from Britain or Ireland. Well, you need them because the hottest part of the day is when you really don't want to be out. People suffer heat strokes, they have dehydration, they don't know how to necessarily live in this lifestyle. So if you are going to be coming over here, get yourself out at least in the summer once and try it, and try having a bit of an extended holiday in the summer. But if you do come over here, make sure you're well hydrated, understand what hydration means, understand about keeping out of the heat, wearing the right sort of clothing. Normally I'd have a wide brimmed hat on. The only reason I don't is because I'm doing this video. But have something for that because the heat can be very, very oppressive and incredibly humid. Conversely, with the weather, winters can be really quite chilly and cold over here, and most houses are not set up for heat. They're set up to try and insulate and keep the heat out during the summer, but with the predominantly tiled walls and tiled floors and concrete walls with painted surfaces, there's not much to retain the heat. So you get cold, you also get dampness coming into an awful lot of houses in the winter. And you've got to remember to wrap up warm because it does get extremely chilly and extremely different to what the summer months are. Number 4 is ignoring the real costs. Yeah, we come across here, as I say, property's not too bad. There's an awful lot of things if you go out for a drink or for dining. It's really quite inexpensive. However, other costs are expensive. Electricity over here is one of the highest in Europe. Still not quite as high as the UK, but still quite high. And if you're using air conditioning all summer and heating all winter, then it can get very, very expensive. If you're wanting imported goods or imported foods, they can be incredibly expensive compared to the UK. Where you normally have something on your table just as a normal condiment, over here maybe 2, 3 or even 4 times the price. And an awful lot of things that we want from the UK just aren't here. So if you do want to get them, you've got to start mail ordering them in, and also then you get all the import duties and things to pay. It just becomes incredibly expensive. So be careful, it's not as cheap as it may seem. Number 5 is struggling with paperwork. Cyprus is not the same as the UK and Ireland. Cyprus is still very much a paper-based society when it comes to bureaucracy. Yes, you can do almost everything online in the West, but don't expect it here. And don't expect the time spans that you get. Often here there's paperwork on paperwork on paperwork, and visits from one office in one part of the town to an office in a different part of the town, or a trip to see the Mukhtar, or any of those things just to get a simple job done. And also, they don't tend to do the quick instant turnarounds where you're used to putting an email in for something or get online and fill a web page in and it happening almost instantly in Ireland or Britain or best part of the rest of Europe. Here it's different. Here it can take time. It can take weeks for something straightforward to happen, and you need to have that patience and that tenacity to keep on waiting for it without getting too upset, without getting wound up, but without giving up either. Now the next problem that an awful lot of people coming to live in Cyprus is not registering for residency. Do you need it? Do you not? Well, if you're here for over 90 days in any 6-month period as a non-EU citizen, which includes the UK, then you must register for residency. You're overstaying your welcome otherwise, and it's an illegal act. If you are an EU passport holder, then yes, you can come over here, no problem, for more than your 90 days. But even then you should register yourself here because of tax reasons. And also if you don't register, you're not going to get any of the benefits of being able to be seen by the health service here, by not being going to be able to open the bank account. In fact, most of the things you're not going to be able to do. You're not going to be able to get your electricity connected, and all those sort of things that we take for granted, they require a registration. You want to change your driving license? It isn't going to happen without a registration. So get yourself registered as soon as you can. Now before I go to number 7, don't forget, if you're enjoying this video, please give me a thumbs up and let me know that you like it. If you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button below. It costs you absolutely nothing and commits you to nothing. But the action of subscribing and also giving me the thumbs up makes such a difference to YouTube's algorithms. It gets more and more people able to see these videos. The other thing is, you'll have seen a few little QR codes popping up. If you see the one like this, which has got the little yellow cup in the middle, that's a buy me a coffee. So if you'd like to scan that or hit the link in the description below, you can give a little bit of financial help just by buying me a coffee or buying me a beer to help this channel go along. There are costs involved in this, just by going out, just by buying the equipment, and of course the time I put in. And if you've enjoyed it, or if you've found anything useful for it, consider buying a cup of coffee. The other thing you could do is, of course, you can see this QR code, which doesn't have the little yellow glass in the middle. That's my link to becoming a channel member. So if you'd like to become a member of the channel, please hit that link, or again the link in the description below. And what that does is open you up to pre-release videos, so you can see them before anybody else, and even special member-only videos, which you'll only be able to see if you're a member of the channel. That's on 3 different rates, and you can choose which one's the right one for you. There's bound to be one. Anyway, back to number 7. Number 7 is not learning the language. Nobody's expecting you to be fluent in Greek. We're not expecting that. But if you can just learn a few of the normal words, how to say hello, goodbye, how are you, it can help so much. And when you do start using some of those words, especially if you're going into a shop or something like that, it can make such a huge difference to how people respect you and treat you. It's a little bit of respect from you to them too. You're in someone else's country. So even if you don't get fluent at learning Greek, learn a few words, learn a few important ones, and they will make such a difference to how your lifestyle in your new country is. I've learned a few, it's helped me immeasurably, so why don't you try a few? Now number 8 is driving without adjusting. Now, yes, they drive on the same road as they do in the UK and Ireland, so it's dead easy for us. If you're coming across from somewhere in Europe or America, then it's opposite side of the road, so you're going to have to adjust. But the Brits and the Irish over here do tend to just take it for granted that because they drive on the same side and the steering wheel's on the same side as at home, then the driving is the same. It's not. There's a very big difference to driving over here. The adherence to the rules is an awful lot less strict, shall we say. Traffic lights can be ignored at times, although watch out, because a lot of the traffic lights now have cameras on where you'll get fined. But you will find that use of things like indicators is almost optional. Lane discipline can be interesting, and the pace of driving tends to be very, very quick by some people and incredibly slow by others. You have to really keep your wits about you, but what you need to do is just adapt your driving skills to this area, and you'll be perfectly safe if you do. Now, number 9 on my list is people who emigrate over here and then believe everything they hear. They look at social media, they hear the barroom experts, and yes, I know you're watching social media and I know that I'm putting out what I say, but at the same time I usually qualify mine by saying that if you really want to know what the truth is, you need to consult an expert and not take it from here, and I still stand by that. If you are new over here and you need any advice, go and see one of the experts or have a look on the Cypriot government website. You can find almost everything you want. But watching social media and listening to the barroom experts, or just try to pick up what you can on the internet, on Facebook or whatever, can lead you down some horrible garden paths, and they can take it away from being a very easy transition to something which is incredibly difficult. The biggest one over here tends to be about the residency, whether you're on a yellow card or a pink slip or a yellow slip or whatever it is. And because there's been changes in the UK and insofar as Brexit last few years, it changed what happens for British citizens over here. So just because somebody is a Brit who's living over here doesn't mean to say they came over on the same rules as you're going to be. You're going to be coming over as a third nation if you're coming from the UK, or if you're coming from Ireland and you've got an Irish passport, then you are an EU citizen. But as a Brit over here, some of the rules that you'll hear and some of the way that people have their lives structured for their residency will be very different to what the current method is. And if you're coming across now, it's the current method you're interested in. So consult the government website, consult some serious experts, and they'll help you through everything you need to know. And finally, number 10, and that's not being emotionally prepared for coming across here. Leaving your home and coming to a different country to live is a big, big step. And maybe it feels like a bit of a holiday at first and dead easy. You come across here with your family. But very, very soon you're going to realise that a lot of the things that you've been used to just aren't here anymore. Familiar shops, familiar places. A lot of your friends aren't here because they're still in the UK. They may say they'll come out and visit, but they're not out here most of the time. And if you're coming out here like me alone, I've left my family totally at home for at least a year, and it's a difficult thing. It becomes very, very lonely if you just sit there. And there's a temptation just to sit in your house, whether you've rented it or bought it, just sit there and wait for the world to catch up with you. It doesn't happen. The good thing is there are lots and lots of places where you can go out and meet new friends, new situations. Go and travel around the beautiful island of Cyprus. It's got so much to offer. But there are so many social clubs which you can join. And whether you're from Cypriot or whether you're from another part of the world like the UK or Ireland or Russia or anywhere in Europe, there are clubs and there are people from your area around. So put feelers out, listen out on the radio. Go and find these clubs. There's local newspapers, often written in English as well as Greek, where you can find all the local clubs. Go make friends with them. Go find the right shops. But be prepared that it does take a little bit of work, and that emotional side can be very, very difficult at first. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, once again, give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below, because it makes such a huge difference. And if you want to give a little bit of financial support, you can give a super thanks below. Or, as I say, if you have a look up at the top corner here, you'll find that there's a QR code which occasionally pops up with a little yellow glass in the middle, where you can buy me a coffee or a beer, and that will seriously help the channel financially. But if you have a look at this QR code, which doesn't have the little beer glass in the middle, that's the one where you can scan to become a member of the channel. And there's 3 different tiers of membership where you can get all sorts, but especially you can get on certain tiers either pre-release seeing the videos a week or so before anybody else can see them on the normal channel, or special videos which only you'll be able to see as a member. They won't go into the normal channel itself. And also I occasionally do little private chats, little private updates just to let you know how I'm going. All the things I don't want to make public on the big channel, I'll make as a private thing to our little friendship through the memberships. Anyway, till the next time, you enjoy your path to Paphos, in fact your path to anywhere, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.